Ending.
If it persists for more than 4 hours, you should go to the hospital.
It's a fair observation.
Or suck your own dick.
That's a less fair observation. Welcome back, everyone, to Signo D&D 5th edition. This is session number 57. I'm currently experiencing some sort of technical issues with my camera, so we'll get that figured out eventually. Last time we left off, the group said their farewells to Far Traveler as he made his way into the core camp, and presumably with them, he will head home to the Arathokov Mountains. Near the same time, the group was joined by a Flind companion named Fort. They don't know too much about Fort as of now. However, I'm sure more will reveal itself eventually. The group continued on to Chrysos using a mage portal in the depths of Urdim, where they split off doing their own tasks for the day, and eventually met back up for dinner, where they met Kat, the Tabaxi female that went ahead and told her whole life story. And that is where we ended our session, letting the group ponder who the hell are these people, except for, of course, the ones that made them, and what to do next. As was pointed out off session, off camera, the Templars are a few days travel away, and it can be expected to be a few days before their arrival, so the group does have some downtime, not only a few days worth. What would you guys like to do while I figure out my camera situation?
Well, firstly, I would like to offer a correction. Last session, though it was amusing, I pulled out the pronunciation guide after session, and it is Yinaghu instead of Yinohu. So Fort would not have made that mistake. That was a player error on my part.
But we all got joy from it anywho. And if you missed that, go ahead and go to bit.ly/LeafJackGaming to watch our VODs, because that is a wonderful moment. And yes, you do have to wait till the very end, so ha. I guess you can skip to it. But anyways, what are you guys doing? And just to mention, Thok is currently unavailable, as he is on a river somewhere. Well, actually, he might be off by now, but I'm sure he's exhausted and sleeping for his next big day tomorrow, so he will not be joining us this night.
Well, I propose that we continue discussion of whatever this dinner meeting was about, because it sounded like Kat is going to be interweaving her story throughout, and I don't think, in a similar situation, Nate's character is more charismatic than Nate, so he's going to have a hard time actually conveying all that information, but Kat will do it easily. In this dinner meeting, though, I think we were supposed to discuss some details, but I don't think we actually hit on any of those because the conversation got sidetracked. Not once, but twice.
Not uncommon. So I think the person who called this meeting together really was Kylan more than anyone else.
Kylan's biggest concern was getting James to dinner, and when she noticed everyone wasn't there, she was like, "Hey, not everyone's here for dinner. Let's bring everyone here."
All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to say something? Yep. Okay. As the other party isn't actually here, Fox is more or less just enjoying everyone else's company. However, if you have any questions for him, he'd be happy to talk. but he didn't really have anything diplomatic-wise to go over.
So, what next then?
Who are you asking?
Everybody in general. Have we done what we came here to do?
Well, you dropped me off. I mean, that's all I cared about.
I pointedly ignore Kylin.
I love you, Lee.
I turn to Jacked, I guess is going to be the main one. Are we prepared to make the jump to the Shadow Plane?
I'm not sure if I'm ready yet.
Have you figured out how to work that dimension cube thing?
Well, quite honestly, I haven't taken a look at it yet. I'm still focusing on these books of Bacamp, seeing what I
Okay.
can learn.
Do you want to take some time to do that, or do you want to, get moving forward, see how quickly we can get to your father?
Grandfather.
My father's dead.
Right. Whatever he
Um,
is.
We wrecked Jack's daddy.
Depending on what the rest of the group would like to do, I would like to study these books further, but if we have pressing matters in the Shadowfell, then we can take a roll of the dice.
Your grandfather is the only pressing concern, so if you are more content to study, then I'm sure we could all take some time off.
Well, let's bring it to a vote then. What does everybody think we should do? Go to the Shadowfell or take some time?
How likely is your grandfather to be slain while we're waiting?
I don't know his situation right now.
DM, how much knowledge do I have of his situation?
Very slim.
Okay.
Or slim knowledge, not slim chance. Sorry. Very little knowledge on the. But you could kind of
Right.
gather that It's like if you have a hostage, you don't just kill the hostage. There's a reason why
Right.
you have them. So unless he comes out with demands and timeline, it's unlikely for him to do anything immediately.
Okay. I guess the main question is going to be then, from what I know of Karsus, do I have any inkling what his goal is?
The only thing you can think of, because there's so little knowledge on Karsus himself, is that he's trying to get you. Or Jack, even that's an option too, or both of you.
Okay. So, from what I know of Karsus so far in my time dealing with him, this is most likely a trap. Preparing is not necessarily a bad plan, and it probably I don't believe he will damage his bait in the meantime.
Then I suggest you prepare in whatever way you need to do.
That sounds reasonable.
But at the same time, he may press the timeline if we make him too impatient. So we should prepare quickly.
So, that being said, is there an amount of time that you guys wish to prepare? A few days, a few weeks? Somewhere in between? Somewhere over? Somewhere under?
Depending on how much I was able to learn from the books and how close I am to being able to enter that meditative state that we were talking about. So I think
Oh, go ahead.
Like, if that's going to be like a long time, then we won't base it on that. I mean, if it's going to take a couple days or however, I'll consider it.
With what you've gone over now, especially with a helper, as long as Ford is continuously willing to help you, you're pretty sure you could get it in, not necessarily like perfect it in a few days, but like get to a point where you might be able to at least have a fighting chance when you go ahead and give it a shot.
Okay, and I have a pretty good feeling that Ford is going to want to help, based on his interaction last time with.
While
Stone.
Fox is here, Fort's going to recommend that you study under Fox, and Fort is going to ask Fox to be able to copy some spells from his book while Jack prepares himself.
Sounds good. I will take that counsel from Fort and go to Fox. And see if
Fox
he
is
wants
Fort's mentor, and if he's available right now, there's no reason not to learn from the better trainer.
to.
Possibly the best. Fox will ponder for a moment. He seems fairly tired. It is late and he has eaten his fill. He goes, "In the morning I'd be willing to start teaching you, but I will say once the Templars arrive, I will be busy."
So it sounds like maybe 2 days of study under Fox, and then Fort can take over after that.
Yeah, that's what he's more or less offering you.
I want to approach what's his face, King Auric, and ask if he has a library somewhere in Urdim.
A library. Well, yes, there's a library. It hasn't been touched in eons. Somewhere along that. But yes, it exists.
Is it possible I could access it?
You have to find it.
That'll be the hard part. Okay.
With most things here, finding it is half of the worthiness. That's what the test really is. If you can find it, the knowledge is yours.
Okay. Then whatever downtime I have, to be determined by how much time we spend, I want to spend looking for that library.
Okay. So that's everyone here, besides Kylan and Kat.
Did Fox agree to my request?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay.
He'd be more than happy to let you do that.
Okay.
Kylan is ready to get a jump start on whatever is needed to help around Crisis. Creating the down to the nitty gritty. Even if it's like helping people build a building, Kylan's just ready to get moving on Crisis.
Okay. There's help that needed in most places. Currently, they're actually making quarters, like a nice inn of sorts for the diplomats, because they don't really have anything at the moment. And they're modifying one of the dwarven buildings so she can go help with that, and help with James. James is doing both that and preparing for the talks, what he wants to say, what needs to be done, all that other jazz, and preparing for what they might throw at him. Something that someone with great wisdom might be able to help with.
Kylan's definitely going to set James aside for lessons in confidence, because he's going to need it. And she will at least make mention that steady medical facilities are going to be necessity, just because it's her. and that's where she would best be used. But she's happy to take whatever is most immediate of need.
There is a medical facility. It's not the grandest, but it is. It's like it's multiple buildings with some makeshift uh, coverings connecting the two, just for sanitation and safety things. There is a small one that can be improved upon. However, right now the main focus is this talk that's going to happen in the next few days.
So it sounds like Kylan's going to be spending time literally advising James. That just sounds more like what it's going to be then, than her literally physically helping.
Yeah. Well, there are times where James is going to be helping physically, and she'll probably, or she can join then, or she can go do whatever. But there are other times that James is preparing long into the night to figure out things for the coming days.
And then Kat will actually ask if she can join Lee.
Excuse me?
Yeah, it's you're the only one who's going to be looking for anything or do anything I can actually help with. I'm not going to teach magic. I don't know magic.
I don't need your help. I'll be okay.
She's gonna give you like a really quizzical look. Okay. She's gonna venture on her own then. To see if she can find the library first.
I'm not
Alright.
following you or anything. You just happen to be going the same direction as me. Gosh.
If you don't need me, well, we'll see about that.
All right, there you go. They're dead. They're in there.
Beautiful. All right.
Oh, I legit killed
Yep.
a bug on my chest.
We leveled up to 13. That's his 7th level spell.
I thought it was Crown of Stars. But anyways.
Oh, it is. That's why it was a test.
I prefer Star of Crowns. He's been playing, what's that game where you just roll around with the ball and pick up everything?
It's like Kanawachi guitar or some bullshit. I don't remember. I was just mumbling. That's Kanawachi guitar, yeah.
Some Japanese name. It's about as close as I could have gotten. Anyways, just because it's easy, those looking for the library, roll survival checks.
All right.
Kat's gonna steal herself back for a moment and use a bonus action to put her proficiency towards survival.
Okay.
Wow.
Beautiful. Good.
Are we looking? Fox and myself?
I
Think so?
don't know why.
If you want to go to the library, you can. However, you and Fox may do whatever you wish to do.
We already have the books. We'll just find a good place.
Yeah, I was gonna have you roll an assisted religion check instead. I'll let you keep that 19, however, because why not? So what's 19 plus your religion?
Yeah, religion is nothing.
So 19.
0. Yep.
Okay.
You want to block on it?
Yeah, I guess we could to see if we can bust that 20. So sure.
I don't see how you could not break a 20 with a 19 plus d4.
Hey, you got a 20. So what Fox does initially is he sits you down and he gives you a brief overview of the whole practice. Why people worship Macabre versus other gods of magic and what he brings just very basic at first. However, once he gets that, he kind of power throughs all the books with you in for the rest of the day. Not necessarily going in details on the like everything, but like he'll point out the main things and the main sections, and he'll actually give you some homework, like read this in more detail. But you have a few books, and he just goes through the majority of those pages. There are lesser gods in this campaign setting. Most pantheons are somewhere, though many of them, especially since the time of the Cataclysm, many of them have been forgotten. However, you'll find texts on various gods of magic. The Cobb was one of the ones that survived in general, because that was also one of the ones that Ophandrus was into for a very long time, which is why he survived through the Cataclysm. We could get into a whole deep discussion of all the pantheons and how they interact right now, but I'm not going to worry
I don't reckon we ought to.
We can do that off camera, or I can write it up at some point, but I'm not going to do that in a sitting. So, anyways, there are other gods of magic that have been worshipped and are currently worshipped. We're not going to get too deeply into that right now. But yeah, you get a very general sense with some specifics. But the main thing, you got quite a bit in, and he says that the next day he will go over different rituals. He'll go over connecting with Macabre himself. Things he's done in his past that are rare, but he hopes that with your connection that you already have will be less difficult for you and possibly a lot more fruitful. He seems generally excited, and you know how he usually talks pretty slow. He's actually talking at a very normal pace, almost as if he's a little sped up because he's excited. But since he's so slow to talk, or slow in his words anyways, it just sounds normal. But he's an excellent teacher. You learn quite a bit from him, and he finds you an excellent student as well.
Okay.
So you're wanting to copy down his book, correct?
I definitely don't have time to do that in 2 days.
Well, I mean, you want to be able to look at it and choose spells from it that you possibly could.
Yeah. What are his highest level spells that he's got?
Okay. One character. Where did I put him? There we go. His two highest levels are True Res and Foresight.
What level's True Res?
9th.
Huh. I need to go find out more about that one.
Both are 9th level.
Anyways, depending on specifically how many hours are available, I will come up with a plan on what to copy.
Do you want just his character sheet so you can see it?
What would be more useful than just his character sheet would be knowing how many hours.
I do not know the exact hours for that.
Are we thinking 48 plus whatever's left over tonight's dinner?
Oh, how many hours left? Yeah. Give it about 52 hours is what you got to work with.
Okay, I can figure something out with that. Then yeah, I'll take a look at his character sheet to see what he's got.
Okay. And that's without rest, of course.
I can greater restoration myself if I determine that he's got something in his book that's more valuable than sleeping.
That's fair.
Beautiful. Like college.
Exactly.
Except you don't get greater restoration in college, you just get sleep deprivation.
And coffee.
So, those of you who went searching for the library, I hope you
Something happened while we were searching. If Kat wants to address it,
We can get there.
okay. Yeah, Kat tried to speak to Lee telepathically.
Lee doesn't seem very happy.
Well, you're both incredibly lost. And what's the range of your telepathy? Is it 30 feet?
I can't be far. I don't know off the top of my head right now.
Let me rephrase this. Are you following Lee?
What she did say to her was before we left.
Yeah, it would have been right when we parted ways when I was walking away.
$120
Okay.
Have to have
Okay.
sight.
So you did say that before you guys left. Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I don't know what you said, so I can't.
That's fine. We'll deal with it. But it's important you know she tried to talk to me, is all.
Okay. Well, afterwards, you guys delve in separately, I'm guessing. And
Yeah.
both of you get hopelessly lost, especially you, Kat, and you find yourself there for the night, unable to figure out what's going on, and alone. Lucky for you, it's not too terribly dangerous down here. At least not at the moment.
Psh, more like lucky for all those monsters you want to throw at me.
Alright, you guys are lost down there for the night. That would be this night. And then the next day, Jack, you and Fox do your learning, and then he gives you homework for the next day. And
Okay.
as long as Fort is set on that, Lee and Kat, you both get survival checks for this current day. To see if you can't unlose yourself.
Oh no.
Kat, you find yourself back at the entrance. But at least you're not lost anymore. Lee, however, you find yourself even more lost, and this time, however, you're pretty sure you're no longer in Dim.
Oh no.
Somewhere along the way, you accidentally took a turn into a more cavernous area. However, you weren't really paying attention at the time, trying to follow tracks that weren't even there.
Welcome to this campaign settings Underdark.
Oh no. Yeah, that's a real bad place for well, I don't know.
It's not that bad for a drow. It's a lot worse for anybody that's not a drow.
That's fair. I'm not on such bad terms that it's more dangerous for me, so I'm probably okay.
High or low?
Low.
As you wander and realize you're not in the place you want to be, and you kind of start heading back, you hear footsteps in the distance heading towards you.
I will cast invisibility.
Okay. Two drow. They seem to be some sort of patrol. Dressed moderately well. Scouts of some sort. Come meandering along, just kind of looking around, trying to see what's around. However, with your invisibility, they do not see you.
Do they look well dressed or just like scouts?
Just like scouts, not well dressed at all.
Okay. Not high quality gear at all. They're not like scouts for anybody important.
Do a perception check.
Okay. With advantage based on my knowledge of drow houses?
Sure.
Alright. 15.
Looking them over, you don't see any markings that would indicate that they belong to any house. You just see the typical marking to Lolth.
Okay. Do I see the way out at all?
Luckily, you haven't delved too deeply, and just backtracking should get you out.
Okay, perfect. Then I will leave them and go back.
Okay. We'll say that both took both of you about half the day, and you are entitled to one more survival check. Well, Lee, you do not find your way back out. You do not pass go. You do not collect $100, but you're not in the Underdark anymore. You're just somewhere lost in what seems to be some residential district, but from there you are just lost. Kat, you don't get lost per se, but you do not find the library.
Is there a chance that she finds Lee?
No. That would be way out of the way at this point.
Yeah. Is your telepathy a two-way thing? Like, if I try and communicate you and you happen to pass within 120 feet of me?
Must have. I have to see you to
Okay.
telepathically communicate.
Then never mind.
And the ruling on that is up to DM because it just says communicate. It doesn't really go beyond that.
You have to initiate.
Okay. Alright, and I'm gonna stay stuck for another night, I guess.
What a way to spend our downtime.
All right. Another night passes, or yeah, the first day passes, and just double checking. Fort, are you set for what you need?
Yeah, I'm still choosing.
Okay. If there's anything you want to kind of go over once you've made a decision, just let me know. So the next day, Jack, you and Fox once again begin your study. Go ahead and make an assisted religion check.
Whew, I'll luck one of those. The next. Okay, never mind. Yeah, we'll luck it. I suppose. You know what? Since we're just studying, we'll do put a.
All that luck.
Yeah.
The rituals, while not too mind-boggling, are definitely more complicated than yesterday's teachings, and there's a lot to them. Some ranging from very basic, which you kind of got an understanding of prior, to extremely difficult and specific, with materials that are exact, and all these things. Some of them you're able to really kind of get a grasp on. Others slip your mind a little bit. Maybe for some. Yes, that means long rest. Some of
Slip
them.
my mind a little bit.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, just helping you lead off where you were.
Okay, yeah. Some of them with more research and study you'd probably grasp better. Others you think you got a pretty decent handle on, and with some good religion rules in the future, you might be more adept or able to complete them.
Okay.
Uh, okay. Back to our uh, delvers into finding a library.
Okay, so if I use my sword to mark my path, can I get some advantage on my survival check?
Not advantage, but I'll make it easier for you not to be completely lost.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Survival check.
Yes, go ahead, both of you roll your survival.
Oh, come on!
So, Lee, you find your way out of the residential section by marking the way out, kind of, with your sword, making no
Mm-hmm.
avoiding circles. Kat, you find yourself into the residential section, where you guys actually will bump into each other.
So at this point, it's been a day and a half, and Lee's kind of cooled down. I'll see you and start walking over.
So you're still not finding it, or did you get the books?
When I get within 10 feet of her, I'm going to Eldritch Blast.
Jesus Christ!
Does a 24 hit you?
I'll use a reaction to jump back to a different space with my nomadic ability when the attack hits, because that's gonna hit.
Okay. How does that work?
Okay.
If she gets hit, she uses a reaction and says, "I'm over here," and that missed.
Well, it ups her AC. So
It
can
does
still-
not
No.
up her AC. It just
It's not. It's a nomad discipline. Let me double. Let's see. Sorry, it's not a discipline. It's part of the Order of the Nomad. Memory of 1,000 steps. So, as a reaction, when you're hit by an attack, you can teleport to an unoccupied space that you occupied since the start of your last turn, and the attack misses you.
Okay, then it's something else that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
There is one that does that. For what you're talking about?
Cool. I do fire 3 blasts, so
I mean, you can shoot them all, but...
the other 2, I'm guessing.
They miss.
You fired where she was, and she's not there anymore. What?
Um,
Hold the phone. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I lower my sword and just kind of glare at you. Stay out of my head.
Okay, we can do that. But how about we don't do the kill me thing?
I snicker. You would have been fine. Do you happen to know the way out of here?
I found my way out once, but I was still interested in finding that library.
I mean,
Maybe we
I'd
can work
like
together.
to. I growl under my breath, but at this point, I've been lost for a day and a half, so I'm really not that picky. Fine. And I would like to assist Kat in a survival check
Go ahead and make a
to
survival check at advantage.
find this stupid place. Please.
After a few more hours of searching, you stumble upon the library.
Oh, I passed this place like 5 times. What the hell?
I mean, whatever. Glad we're here. Okay, do you
What's
want to
it
help
like?
me search the library?
Question to DM: what's it like in the library?
Oh, yes. So the library is not enormous, but a good size. Just at a glance, you probably assume it has somewhere around 3,500 books. Many categories strewn across the wall, as it is a large dome that reaches up around where the books go a good 40 feet in the air, with ladders that roll across. There are no bookshelves, just the wall, and then in the center there is plenty of space for reading. There's tables, candles with protection to keep the flames away from the books, as well as uncharacteristic cushions. They're uncharacteristic to dwarves. They don't seem to care usually.
Okay.
What you looking for in here?
So I need to find some information about where we're going. Help me look for anything that mentions the Shadowfell, Netheril, or if you see anything that mentions a being named Karsus, bring that to me immediately.
Okay, can you help me out with something too while we split up and do this?
Fine.
2 words. Gnome erotica.
Hold up a sec. Lee is just stunned for a second, and just kind of shakes her head and brushes it aside. I'm not going to specifically look for it, but if I happen across something, I guess I would feel bad not bringing it up.
You know, you got your reasons for coming to the library. I got my reasons. Let's be clear here. We're both important people who need important things, okay?
Noma Sutra.
Dear Lord.
Oh, goodness gracious. Alright, commence the search,
Someone
please.
make an advantage investigation, or you may do it separately.
Can we do it separately to both look for stuff throughout the place?
Sure.
Spread our
Okay
spread
with
our
that.
range. Kat, it'll take a moment to still herself, the hairs on the back of her neck rising as she focuses on her ability to investigate.
I'm just so put off.
Sorry, that was
Are
with the
you?
advantage.
I mean, you still got the 19, but still, like, whatever. I'm just gonna see you grumbling about it, but whatever.
Lee is completely distracted, can't find anything. Cat, high or low?
Hi. Oh, tell me it's no erotica. Tell me it's no erotica.
Jeez. You find. Why not? You find a section in this library that is kind of hidden in a way. I mean, it's still this like arc
Oh, no.
on the wall. However, there's
It's-
this hidden corner that when you get to it, it kind of folds back on itself just a little bit. And there's a little plaque that says "Adult Only."
Oh no.
You go in there and you find the erotica section, and you find a single book
What the hell is going on?
called because I can't think of a better name, the Nova Sutra.
I mean, there isn't a better name.
That's pretty freaking great.
The lusty Argonian maid.
There is the lusty lizard folk, but
Beautiful.
Kat's gonna take the book in her hand and kind of flip through it real quick, and tuck it away. And she's gonna go see if she can find Lee.
Did you just stop after that? Because you can keep looking if you want.
Well, she's gonna help. She's gonna specifically. She found what she was looking for. She's gonna help Lee look for what she's looking for now.
Okay. You find what you're looking for. Good lord. And you go over and help Lee, and you are able to find a book, a single book, on the shadow.
Oh. There we go. He is muted and deaf.
Who? Oh, and he's gone. I was wondering what was going on there. He must have disconnected or something. Well, I guess I'll tell you since it's Cat, since you're the only one here right now. You find a book on the Shadowfell called The Plane of Shadow and Dread.
Oh, hey, this looks like what she's looking for. She opens it.
The pages are a pure black with white ink.
Whoa, that's badass.
What languages do you currently speak?
That's a very good question. Let's say, for the sake of this, that right now she speaks Common, and that's gonna be all.
You are not familiar with the writing beyond the title.
Sorry, I missed that. What was the title?
Plane of
What did you
Shadow
find there?
and Dread.
Okay.
Yo, Lee, this book's really cool. It's black and white, and I can't read it.
Why? Okay, I come over and look at it.
The language is Elven. However, there's some strange dialect type differences. Besides the mood of this text being quite dark and sort of almost monotone in reading it, it's kind of a strange thing to get from reading a book. The dialect is something that you're not familiar with. Darker than like a drow one might be. I mean, drows typically speak just typical Elvish. It's not impossible. Every once in a while, you kind of stumble upon a phrase that's a little strange, talking about things that you can kind of, out of context of the book and all that, kind of guess the meaning. However, just glancing over it, there are definitely parts that are difficult.
I'm actually not even going to waste time with the ritual. I'm just going to cast Comprehend Languages.
Okay. That does clear up quite a bit. Does that tell you what language it is or anything? Or it just allows you to read it?
No, it just allows me to read it.
Okay. It makes it smoother to read is the main thing. So you don't have to waste as much time trying to figure it out. The text refers mostly towards the Raven Queen, and following her, there is some talk about how the Raven Queen led her people to great power, and eventually the fall into the Shadowfell itself, where they were trapped, and her power was transformed. What happened was she tried to become a god, and she ended up forcing herself and her people into the Shadowfell, where her godhood was reached. However, she was trapped forever. The people, the elves that followed her, were trapped with her in this gloom and dread state, and they are forever her servants, following her will as she ferries the dead between to their proper resting place.
Okay. Does it make mention of who her people are?
Yes. And those people are the Shadar Kai. I may have said that wrong.
That's about as close as you're gonna get. I'll go see if it's in the pronunciation guide.
Okay.
Okay.
The shitty kind. What's that?
Shadow Kai.
Shadar.
Gotcha, shitty
Shadar
kind.
Kai. Okay.
They're like emo elves, but not.
Okay. This is close, but not exactly what I'm looking for. Because the lore I already have of Karsus doesn't line up with this. So he must be separate.
In what way?
Just for reference, I'm gonna send the information you already gave me from research forever ago, Matt.
Yeah. Were you sending that through?
Through Roll20. Yeah.
Really? Well, I sent it to most everybody.
Oh, I thought
Enters don't work nicely.
it did weird things. Yeah. I mean, I've shared most of this at this point, so it doesn't matter too much, but...
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Kat asks in character, in what way? Like you said it was different. How is this different than what you know?
Mostly it's just a different event to different people. It is the right place, but the person we are hunting similarly sent his people to the Shadowfell, but they were the Netherese is what we're looking for.
This
Is
is all
there
I
any-
really got.
Yeah, no, I'm sure this is helpful. I'm gonna kind of glance through the book some more and see, is there any practical knowledge on just the plane in general, other than like the Shadar Kai history lesson?
After the brief history lesson, actually it's pretty extensive, the history lesson, I should say, there is mention of the, geology, that's I think the word, right?
The
Genealogy?
rocks.
No, the structure of the plane. I don't know why the word is...
Cosmology.
Yeah, cosmology is probably the better word for it.
Sure.
The plane itself is a dark reflection of the material plane, the main prime material plane, where simple things like a typical mountain in the material plane would be reflected as jagged peaks. And it goes to say that everything there looks like the Lalanda Vale. In a way, it's just darker. Dark energy rises from the earth itself, sometimes in heavier areas. There's also mentioned that sometimes the plane creates demi-planes of dread. However, those tend to disappear shortly after creation, going off in whatever planar connection that they used to have is temporarily severed, or whatever, they disappear, fulfilling whatever purpose that they have. Other than that, there's not a ton
Okay.
of notes, except for that there are two cities. Nothing about a name of either city,
Mhm.
just that there are two cities with two ancient powers that conflict but do not openly act against each other.
Oh, that's important. Okay, I've got enough from this. I look around. Is there a librarian at all?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to take the book with me.
Okay.
Do you have what you need?
Oh no, I couldn't find it. It's a big library.
All right. Well, I'm headed back, so
Okay. Well, I'm sure I can come back sometime. It's not a big deal.
okay, good. Because I'm not sure I could find my way out without you. Let's go.
It actually doesn't take that long to find your way out. You find yourself fairly close to the entrance.
Perfect.
So hey, about that trying to kill me thing. Can we not do that anymore?
No weapons drawn. Just kind of turn to her and very sternly say, "Stay out of my head."
Already
Maybe
said
okay.
we had a deal, bitch. But, like, I don't know what the fuck is up with you, but I know what the fuck is up with me, and I was just trying to talk.
I turn and walk away.
Relationship building at its finest.
All of my characters have the poorest relationship with Lee.
Yeah.
No, sorry. All of my characters have the poorest relationship with your characters. Silas and Ugin, Ellie and Ugin, Kylan and fucking Lee, and now we're gonna go with Kat and Lee. Let's do this shit.
And I mean, yeah, it's different reasons every time. But that's okay. All right. I will retire to the Grand Hall because I have not eaten in a couple days and I'm very hungry.
I assumed you brought some sort of rations, nowhere near the amount that would satisfy
mean-
you like the Grand Hall would, but something.
I would have brought maybe a snack on my way, but I was expecting to be in and out.
That did not work well in your favor.
No.
You return, and around this time, the Templars arrive in the city proper, and Octavia and her diplomat, a young man, are escorted down to Erdem, where initial greetings of her and Fox are made, along with James.
Is Kylan at the table?
Yeah, Kylie would be there. As Fox is kind of the main attention for a few of you, I do believe everyone would be present. As the diplomatic talks are not until the next day to give Octavia and her diplomat a chance to rest, it's kind of more just awkward conversation between each other's groups and no crosstalk really. The Templars settle into a corner by themselves, and the mages kind of sit in the middle where they have been sitting and do their thing as they had been, but they don't attempt to bother them this evening.
Well, this is a terrible way to have a diplomatic party go. We should be mingling.
I think it might be a good idea to give them time to rest, but if you wish to talk to them, you are more than welcome to.
Hang on a second. I recognize that woman. She's the one I drove off from the city.
Perhaps you shouldn't talk to her then.
Are we not at peace?
But people have fragile egos sometimes, and I don't know hers.
Well, the best way to find out is to go talk to her directly, isn't it?
Yeah, sure, take Jeffrey. Jeffrey's like, oh, sure. Shall we, Fort?
Yes.
So I will return Fox's book and go approach Octavia and her group.
Okay. They're a little hesitant to greet you, but getting over the war just ending, they kind of blink their eyes a couple times at the fact that you are a gnoll, or to them a gnoll, and him a tiefling, something they don't see much of and usually killed on sight. Octavia goes, hello, come join us, I guess. There's plenty of food around.
Is that the way Octavia is talking?
Yes,
I
she's
don't
trying to
remember
be very
Octavia.
open.
Okay.
Okay. I don't suppose you recognize me, do you? Though that'd be kind of unusual if you forgot me within, a week?
Oh, I know you, but I'm trying to be civil and diplomatic.
Well, I'm glad I didn't have to kill you, nor you me.
And I'll extend a paw out for a handshake for her.
A slight hesitation, but then she reaches forward with confidence and shakes it.
I'll shake her hand similarly confidently. I'll sit at the table.
Jeffrey will give a slight bow and then also extend a hand, and she'll take that as well, this time not hesitating. And she will introduce her companion. This is John, my chosen diplomat, a long-time guard of mine. He was a good assistant at the academy that I used to run, and I thought him perfect for this job.
Oh, you're a teacher, are you? As am I.
Excellent. So, do you teach magic?
Of course.
Yes, I taught, I guess, the opposite.
You taught martial ability. That's not exactly the opposite of magic.
But I taught the nullification of magic as well. So, that was my main area of expertise, actually. And probably how I survived with you there on the battlefield.
I'm not going to comment that she survived by running away.
But he's thinking it.
But I'm thinking it awful hard.
So, probably the best thing to do, as former enemies and soldiers all, maybe we should have ourselves a few drinks.
You don't have to tell me twice, and she grabs her tankard and raises it.
I will reach out to nothing and pull a tankard from nowhere.
I don't know if it's a spell or if you expect the table to do it, but either way it does work.
I expect the table to do it.
It works. And she raises it.
I'll raise it to her and her fellow group.
It's a newfound piece.
Clink the flagon and down it in one drink.
And she will join you in that.
When Kylan hears a good song, clink of a flagon, she's jumping up on her table. Drinks, everybody! Drinks!
I assume magic is foreign to some of you Templars. Perhaps I should explain. Simply reach out and think of something you desire, and you'll have it.
Thank you. Thank you. And many of them do that as well and drink.
Every time they come up with something mundane, I'll basically try and one-up them on quality of what they chose, but better and better and better.
A few of them catch on, and they try playing your game to try making the most fancy tankard and the fanciest of dining ware and foods, and eventually it becomes a small competition, and it helps them relax quite a bit. Whether or not that's your intention, but it does help them.
No, I totally intended to rub in their face how cool magic is.
A lot of them, drunk at this point, do not realize that is what they're showing off. While that is going on, is anyone else doing anything?
Once the Templars are liquored up enough to be relaxed, I'll invite some of the mages over to join us as well.
Seeing the fun you are having, a few will join.
Kylan's definitely hanging out with the drinking party.
Drinks at the end of the tale. A fox does not join. He is half asleep at this point. He gets up. I think it's time for me to head to my chambers. And he begins to slowly saunter off towards where he has been staying these past few days.
I'm going to excuse myself from the party to join Fox towards his living quarters, bedroom, wherever he's staying.
Okay. He is staying in a nearby living area. So his own quarters. Downstairs, that is. Near the Great Hall. Yes, Ford, can I help you?
No, I'm just keeping guard. They're
Oh.
still recent enemies. They might see you as a high-value target if they want to restart the war.
Thank you for your concern.
I'm your guard.
Well, I still appreciate it, even if it is your job. He heads to bed.
As we get to his quarters, I'm going to ask him if he has any advice for dealing with the adventurers, because he's got to speak to Jack and he's got to see Lee and, Kylin, but I know she's not going to be joining the party, and Kat and Thok.
They're headstrong, but good people. Just don't let them do something too stupid, but let them do what they need to do.
I'm suddenly thinking back to the story I heard of Thok shitting on the floor.
Yeah, that's something that is too stupid and needs to be undone.
Okay.
Defecating in a public place is just wrong. Though,
Well, the way I heard it, he defecated in the Templar main hall. That sounds pretty hilarious considering they were our enemies at the time.
that's true. Perhaps letting him do his own thing is best. Keep them alive, and I think you will do well with them. They're a bunch of misfits as it is. No, well, yeah, you stand out and you knew that.
Well, I'm going to thank him for letting me look over his book the past few days and tell him that I learned a lot, and I was very grateful.
I'm glad you are one of my best pupils, and I always look forward to teaching you.
And I think it's time to depart if he's going to bed.
Yes. Jack, are you doing anything? Are you joining the drinking? Are you chilling on your own?
I am casually drinking my coffee and studying my book more thoroughly. Trying to get a feel for the Shadar-kai, and seeing if there's any place I can connect with them, because I'm hoping to maybe make allies of them.
Okay. That'll take some personal studying, so I will let you know.
Okay, that works.
Does Lee have a bag or anything like that she carries?
No.
So then, okay. I don't know. I'm just gonna do this one.
Kind of, yeah. I have actually a pretty good, well-stocked backpack. It's
Like
not
an
huge.
like an adventurer's pack or something like that.
I actually have a Dungeoneer's pack and a Burglar's pack jammed into it. So,
With her out of your sight, Kat is going to use blind spot on you. So you make a wisdom saving throw, and if you fail, then she's invisible until the end of her next turn to you.
okay. Is there? Oh no, never mind. Okay, cool. All right. Wow. That was a +6.
And then Kat's gonna use a bonus action to focus her efforts on her sleight of hand, and she's gonna try to slip the gnome erotica book into Lee's pack.
Make a sleight of hand versus.
She's invisible.
Um,
Oh, but the book isn't necessarily invisible.
And she's gonna be messing in your pack too, like.
Yeah.
So perception at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, didn't even need it.
Okay. So you now have Noma Sutra.
All right, I'm sure that's gonna come up randomly at some point.
That's not the only thing.
Oh no. This just in. Fort is aroused by Numa Sutra.
Now, let's talk about Fort. Let's talk about Nate.
Oh no. Alright.
And I guess with you none the wiser, she's gonna pop up next to your side and with a drink. What you reading? Is it that book we got, or is it another one?
I glare at you for half of a second before going back to my book. You're useful. Don't be annoying as well, and we might get along.
Do you have trouble reading this at all? I couldn't read it.
No, I have a spell that lets me read. It's Elvish anyway, although a strange dialect.
You mind reading some of it to me?
I eye you sideways, and then I guess I read some of it aloud. It's mostly just history stuff.
Kat will listen very attentively to your reading. She very much so appreciates it.
While I'm reading, let me know if you think of anything, any way that we can anything we can use to make an alliance with these Shadar-kai.
Okay. Does the book seem to be magical at all to you?
No.
Okay.
Just edgy.
The Book of the Edgelords.
Exactly.
That's the one we needed to find. The Book of the Edgelords, of course.
I'm not sure which one's more edgy, Drow or Shatterkai.
Probably Noma Sutra.
Edgy is Drow for sure.
True. They're very edgy and kinky. Tome of Intelligence needs.
It's been, what, 3 days since it
One
was
or
4
two
days
more
left?
Yeah,
One or
it needs a day. Jack would know that.
Isn't it written on the title page?
Yes.
It says 1 day.
It's probably counting down by hours at this point.
That is
Kylan will spend her evening going between different groups and just trying to keep joyful and keep everybody engaged, not gloomy or anything like that.
James joins the drinking. However, he is young and has no tolerance to alcohol and is asleep after his third beer. Well, not asleep, but he's very like.
Kylan's gonna seeing that she takes him to a back room and she smacks him in the face and sobers him up with a lesser restoration. Get your shit together, boy.
I don't drink much,
Well then, don't drink.
but I want to be part of the group. I want
Okay,
to show that I'm here
let's-
for it.
Let's drink after, right? I can handle my alcohol, okay? But it seems like you got some problems. So let's just drink. Why don't you just keep the celebrating to after? You know, like they could break out any second and try to kill each other.
It's fair.
I don't need you drunk.
Years are above peer pressure. Okay, I will keep my drinking to a very minimum. Promise.
Thank you.
Promise.
I promise. This is gonna be great. We're gonna have a lot of fun after peace talks.
Okay. I should probably build a tolerance, just in case. After, of course. After.
After. Now straighten up those shoulders. Straighten those shoulders. Let's go back out there.
Okay, let's go. And he is not as drunk, he's not drunk anymore because of the restoration. Ready to go, and he does much better for this night. Octavia, after drinking quite a bit, stands up. Still mostly sober, just a little tipsy. Alright, where am I staying? In a very gruff voice. And she is led by some spirits to her own quarters, not near Ophandris, along with her men.
I certainly hope not Nero Fandris, because he's dead.
No, near Ophandris, not near Fox, alright? And everyone gets their own rooms for the night. Jack, we didn't get what you were doing.
Sorry, yeah, I was away. What setting we talking about?
So Octavia arrived. Everyone had a good time. In the evening, Fox went to bed. Octavia's gone to bed. There was some drinking before it tried showing everyone up to show off magic. A lot of the Templars, not knowing what was going on, fell for it. It's more or less all that's happening this night. What would you like to be doing?
Are we in like a, just like the
The main
eating
hall.
hall, or okay. I'm just gonna be sitting back enjoying the festivities, kick my boots up, and I'll actually find a pipe, start smoking a little bit, put my feet up, and then realize that I haven't looked at my grandfather's journal in a while and pop that guy open.
Okay. You flip through the pages, and one opens to you, and some scrawling comes out and says, "I'm safe. Be careful. This being can never be trusted."
I will be thankful in the fact that my grandfather is safe. I will have a short smile flash across my face, puff on the pipe again, make note that he can't be trusted, and watch the chaos that's going on between the Templars and Fort right now, or whatever the shenanigans are going on.
Actually, around that time, Fort is rejoining the main hall. You hadn't seen him until you just looked around for him.
Okay. Yeah, he's pretty easy to spawn, I'm guessing.
Rejoining the main hall from where the sleeping quarters were.
Gotcha. Okay.
A voice pops into your head, says, "I truly never thought I'd see this day. Templars and mages drinking together."
Do I recognize his voice as Ophandrus?
Yes.
Kind of surprised to ask, are you still here? I, for some reason, thought you left.
I have been quiet, just enjoying the world. Like I said, I'm here to observe, but just a feeling hit me, so I thought I'd share.
Yes, it is good to see. No more bloodshed between people that never really needed to be fighting in the first place.
You're probably right, but no one's going to agree to that. You should probably keep that sentiment to yourself.
Yeah, probably.
I'm always here. Just
I will keep that in mind. I may have need of your advice or wisdom.
if you'll take it, I know that you're not, well, your group, especially the young orc, is not particularly fond of me.
Who?
Thought.
The young orc.
I thought he said Gork. Like, I was like, was that the name of the one gnome that we exploded?
That was good.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, just kind of. I'm not. Can I speak to him? Kind of use my own mental capacities. It's kind of like telepathy.
Yeah.
Rather than. Okay. So yes, I probably should keep that to myself. Also, that you're probably hanging around should be something we don't share with a lot of people.
You're probably right. At least not for a while. Then again, if you hold it to yourself and then start telling people, they might think you're crazy.
That's true. So is this kind of a permanent thing? Should I start charging you rent, or how does this work?
As long as you have my book, I will be with you.
It may seem we'll be roommates for quite a while yet.
I look forward to seeing the world through your eyes. As he speaks, he almost seems to have a youthfulness, as if he's regaining strength. Not necessarily becoming like taking over your body or anything weird like that, but like with his body shed and his soul remaining and being in his book and being taken by you and being housed by you, he sounds healthy almost.
Okay.
Yes, I'm always here. You can always ask me whatever you want. I'll be honest, I might not tell you everything. Sometimes you have to learn it on your own.
And sometimes it's good to learn on your own. But I guess for the moment, make yourself comfortable. I'm not sure how you do that, but go for it.
I don't feel so as being or not being, and right now I'm being, so I guess I'm good. I'm sure we'll talk in the future. Have a good night,
I'm
Jack.
sure. You too.
Alright, the rest of the night goes uneventfully. Well, or as eventfully, I guess, as you guys wish it to be, but nothing mischievous happens outside of your guys' control.
Time for an actual night of sleep.
And that you all
Beautiful.
get as you long rest. And you rest well.
Before I rest, I will change the spell my homunculus is holding.
Okay?
Okay. Just so you know what it is.
Okay. Morning comes, and at the table are the diplomats from both sides sitting together this time. In brief discussion, just nothing about the peace talks yet, just minor things talking about where they've come from, um, a little bit of their stance on where they're at. One second, I didn't mean to remember that.
Okay, I'll have to ask you about that later then.
Okay. I'm just waiting for this thing. James is there, kind of mediating, not really needing to at the moment, as they are talking back and forth pretty civilly. After breakfast, the two groups stand up, agree to meet above in 1 hour, and set off on their own for the time being. I'm guessing Kylin takes her adieu at this point and joins them, or joins James as he goes up to prepare in the meeting hall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's strictly like focused on in keeping James, in check, getting him ready for whatever is seriously about to go down. Because this has been a big war.
That has been. Alright. The rest of the group, however, is left to do as they would like.
Is Jecht at the main hall at this point?
Raz
Oh, he's
took
barbed.
burped, yes. So, Lee, what are you doing right now?
I am snacking on probably way too many potato chips while I read this book in the main hall.
Interesting snack of choice while reading. And Cat.
Post like looking for stuff. She's just trying to. I guess she can talk to Jack. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah, she'll find Jack.
Okay, well, Jack is currently burped.
Yeah, well, that's convenient.
Oh, he's
He's
back.
back.
Everyone's trying to talk to you, Jack.
My eyes are no longer glazed over, and I'm like, what's going on? Okay.
You have a good breakfast.
Yeah. And I look down and realize that I'm eating.
Not a morning person.
Oh, I've heard tales of you. Quite the interesting one.
Yeah, that wasn't interesting. I mean, which one are you talking about?
Like the people here say that like you were pretty badass. They kind of think a lot of you.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. I mean, I was with the rest of my party. We were all part of what happened.
Around that time, Ford will approach from the back, as I had been looking for Jack.
I heard you were instrumental in destroying one of the mage enclaves.
Again, not sure about that.
You all have your own legends. There's no reason to disprove it, or disassociate yourself with it, rather.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my book aside for now.
Lost a couple of, well, acquaintances, I guess. But in turn, forged some very strong relationships and alliances.
Are there any legends about me yet?
That's a solid question. Has the party been under observation by the wizards?
Constantly.
Is the Londa Vale immune to divination?
Yes.
Well, as far as you're one of the only people too willing to go into Londavale and come back.
That's fair.
Nobody knows what you actually did there, though.
I kind of smile and go back to my book. Unfortunate.
What did you get up to in there?
Something that we have to finish in the Shadowfell.
Are you the reason we're going?
No, I don't believe so.
Upon hearing that question, I'll kind of shoot up a quick glance in Fort's direction, but then look back down at my breakfast.
I will pick up the weasel from my neck, set it on the table, make a plate of fruit manifest, instruct it to eat, and then start putting on my armor.
So what do you do, Fort?
Pray.
Okay. Can you spell that for me?
That's clever.
But seriously, no. Like, you're this some sort of mage bodyguard. Like, what's your offensive choice?
Obviously I prefer magic, though being a Flint, I also enjoy carnage a bit more than I used to.
Okay. When did the Flynn thing happen? Is
One
that
of
like
my
an advancement?
most
or-
recent expeditions, I actually was going to die.
Okay. All right. I'm down.
That
So,
guy.
To answer your question, I have not been a Flint very long.
I killed a Flynn once.
Yes, I know.
Do you now?
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm sure it's no surprise to any of you
Gesture around to the room.
that you are a very high interest to the blizzards back during the war, so you are constantly under observation to the best of our abilities.
Mental note to find a way to get around scrying.
Cat'll
I
pipe up.
myself am a quite accomplished diviner.
Okay.
Cat'll pipe up. I don't know what this guy knows, but I did hear that you fooled the shit out of Duncan Atreides once.
I lose it. Oh boy.
I completely forgot about that, but yeah, that's actually hilarious. Was that Kylan or Kat?
Cat.
Kat mentioned that. I will actually chuckle at that.
Yes, Duncan's a bit of an idiot, isn't he?
Oh, that was beautiful. Probably my crowning achievement. I look around hastily for Thok.
Hawk is nowhere to be seen, and he has not been seen for a few days.
Hey, where's Thok?
At last I heard, he went to go see his sister.
Oh, okay. Best leave them then. He has this weird, creepy fetish with keeping an eye on her.
Yes, I know.
Agatha's hut is also scrying proof. But
But the rest of his adventure up till that point wasn't.
Oh yeah, no, he's been creepy the entire time, so...
That's true. That is very true. I just thought I'd mention it because that is a heavy part of where she is, so... Okay.
I think we're about ready to set out next time.
I think so.
What about you, Jack? How are your studies coming?
Well, they're coming. I don't think we're quite there yet, but they are making progress.
Bakab has faith that you'll be able to master it before we head out if you choose to dedicate yourself to it.
You speak on behalf of Bakab.
Bakab speaks on behalf of Bakab. I asked him.
Okay, well, shit. I'm hanging out with this guy, aren't I?
Who are you asking? I mean, I don't care if you leave me alone.
Yeah, who were you asking specifically?
No, it was one of those like general statements. Like, not she wasn't specifically looking to anybody to make the statement. She just, well, shit. And this is who I've associated myself with. All right.
It's rhetorical, I guess.
Ah, right. Most of you are not of the faith. I suppose it is a little unusual that I would speak directly to a deity.
I mean, I'm a magic item. What can I say?
About that, I wouldn't mind hanging out with you as you're very interesting, but I wouldn't want to be like those others who attempt to hold you against your will.
Thank you kindly. I think you could aptly do so, looking up at this hulking thing.
I wouldn't dream of it. As I've mentioned, my mother raised me better than that.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you were there for that, Matt, but I asked if I attuned to Kat, and she was taking a nap. If I held her above my head, would she orbit my head in cat nap pose?
No. You may not
Aw.
have a cat.
Aww! It's probably for the best, because that's 1 hour of getting to know somebody better.
It's some time for some bonding.
Oh no.
To some people, that's oh yes.
Yeah, somebody like Lee, reading some interesting books there.
All right.
Both have interesting books.
Wait, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said you both have interesting books, but I think the DM's about to roll it up.
Does anyone have any final thoughts before we end tonight's session?
Nah.
All right.
Does anybody either bring up the armor or the book to Fort at any point?
That's a
Not
solid
yet.
No, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe when we're actually preparing for combat, that's probably something that'll come up. But for now, I wouldn't have any reason to ask you about anything.
All right, so the group has prepared themselves fairly well for the coming trials. We might do some extra prep just to kind of expedite the process to get this show on the road between sessions here. However, thank you guys so much for playing. Thank you all for watching, and as always, stay classy.
Bye.
Bye.